Yeah, good morning, everyone. So, good to have a pet on the screen first, right? Uh, as I said, I'm a veterinarian first and moved into business side of the pet industry close to 14 years back. And it's an interesting domain. Before going to the presentation, which is a very simple one, I just want to know how many are pet parents in this room right now? A few of them, 4, 5, right? Good. I said pet parents. I didn't say pet owners, right? So it's a huge shift from ownership to pet parenting. I'm lucky to be in a category where the consumers speak themselves as a parent apart from being a father of a kid. All of the categories, it's you're a consumer, but here it is a pet parent. So a lot of perspective change. Uh, Other more difficult aspect for this category where the data and the technology is helping a lot is that our customers are different, our consumers are different. Right? Even a kid after 2.5, 3 years start having an opinion, especially with the kind of technology coming in place. Our kids are more used to technologies, they know WhatsApp, they have their very strong opinion coming up. We all must be saying that we were not that clear what they want as we were kids then. In pets, it's a challenge for the lifespan of the customer actually, the consumer. He never speaks. So we have to rely on the customer who is going to buy your product or give a feedback, and then the other story who is going to consume your products. So it's an interesting domain for marketers, the companies, the product manufacturers to understand how to tackle these two species who is going to decide for them. Just give a small reference. India is the only market where vegetarian pet food is also sold. Pets don't need that. They need a protein source from meat. But because we are vegetarians, so we change their feeding habits as we domesticated, right? So, uh, so this is the reason we all are here, customers. As I said, for me, it's consumer as well, the who is going to consume the product. You'll be happy to listen that pet food sold in Indian or global markets as well are expensive than most of the human foods as well. We have pet food coming at a price range of 1,000 rupees per kg, which will be a 3 times meal for a medium-sized dog, or maybe 1,400 rupees kg in Indian market for a cat who is going to use it for 10 days roughly. Now, India is an evolving market in terms of pet category. We're just building it. The whole category is around $1 billion business right now, with all multinationals, the big of the biggies like from Mars, Nestle's, Colgate, Bosch, everybody is in pet food. And most of the products are in India as well. So category is small, but aspirations are huge because we have close to 30 million pet population in the country. But the challenge is only 5% of them use pet food. And our biggest challenge again to make this category bigger is the customers who is buying your product. First, the price point. Second, I need a vegetarian food also. Maybe the product team is making something which is suitable for the pet, which the consumer, which requires a non-veg source. You might need to put a salmon fish into that. But my consumer says, I need the protein which is coming for a vegan source. So there we do a lot of work on the data. Like we run a project called Feel Good Factor. So when a moment the packaged food comes, those who are pet parents, they open the pack at the home, they see a lot of smell coming in. And by chance there's somebody who is not into a hardcore veg in the home, they will say back, why such a smell? It doesn't look good, but the consumer loves that. Now we do a understanding of how a consumer reaction from a buying perspective to the opening of the pack and then how the dog is eating. Other biggest challenge, the complete quality of the product depends how a dog eats the food. If he's not wagging his tail, the food is not good. Whereas the other side, we pamper our pets a lot, that you will listen to pet parents that I feed my dog with my hand. So those are the aspects where we need to get a lot of data where understand, is this product going to perform for us as well or not? We work with companies like who into AI in demand supplies. We work with Salesforce in terms of demand projections, order booking. And the best part for our company is right now, we have close to around 1 lakh selling points in the country. We cater to 30,000 directly from the company to know what are the tertiary sales happening in this. What are the product movement happening from the shelf Is it the packaging which is helping us to move out, or is it the real quality of the product inside? The consumer is going to decide. So if when I say customers, we have multiple departments in our businesses, manpower taken care of by HR, human resource, operations teams take care of the product development, we have revenues and goals coming from business development team, payments and audit finance team, but which is a department in the whole company who looks after customer? Most of the companies, especially like we have a manufacturer or the FMCG space, we just rely upon the CRM department, that's all, which is just an ear to the customers, what is complaint coming in. Most of the companies, what I got in my CRM is, my stock is not available in particular location, how to get it that. But one side, this category is so highly engaging, so much of high emotional quotient is so high that customer, when I calls on CRM, he will spend at least half an hour to talk about his product, about the whole experience of buying the pet food. It's not available, my dog is not eating, what shall I do? He's eating my slippers also, what shall I do? They engage a lot. But the brands like us still finish our customer experience at the CRM level, that's all. We don't go into deep where it needs to go still. Again, the challenge same, the explanation coming in, the data coming in talks about only the customer experience, not the consumer experience. Where we do a lot of work with the research organizations like veterinary institutions, like we have Iyer in Bareilly, which is like veterinary, like aims of human hospitals. To get the data, we do a lot of we work with a company called SPF Dyna. It's a France-based company on two bowl test, how a customer or a consumer consumes the product when I give him two brands to work on this. So a lot of data required, but again the hindrance is that I have to rely on the customer who is the one who decide on multiple factors a quality of a product is available in the market. But when we speak, because of such a high engaging and so much of tools available these days, from social networking to WhatsApp to and whatever you name so, you have a lot of voices coming in, lot of feedback coming in. And again, as I said, customers' feedback coming in. Consumers, still very filtered process has to happen. So there again the team, the marketers, the product development team has to work on what to take it, what not to take when I'm going to take a decision further. In these eras where we work on cashbacks, the transactional experience with the customer is very high. The emotional touch is missing out. The outbound relationship which a customer has to happen, like we go out in Ola and we just have a bad experience, we put it, Ola gives money back, we're finished. And the relationship ends there. In our category, it's a very, very big challenge in terms of coming off how we engage the consumers more. Because again, as I said, it's a pet parent talking to us, not a consumer of any other, of a plywood, right? Or a furniture, who have a lot of emotional connect with him. He has seen the pet growing from a stage to where he's right now. And lot of voices, he expect me to save his money, obviously, but also beyond that, what are we going to do for that? And lack of human touch in terms of most of the idea for the customers also as well is that get my money back, I'm maybe happy, but he's never coming back to me to buy my product also. So there we are, a lot of marketers, especially the brand managers, the product managers are working how to connect to the customers. We do get stuck in somewhere the data point which has a filter. I cannot rely 100% on what customer is saying to represent my consumer database. So what we do is a lot to know my KYC, where I say to know my customer as well as the consumer. We do in-house keeping the dog completely into a 24 hours vision in our surveillance. We have done a project where we have put up a tracking collars to see how the energy levels is consumed. We have done, but again, as I said, it's an emotional, if I do some kind of tracking and all, my customer says that we are using him as a lab animal, which is not right, which is not ethical as well. So interesting category we have. So, but still we try to figure out the 4W and H of this category, that which breed, what time it was fed, what kind of energy level was that. Is a active dog or a lazy dog or a dog into a armed forces surveillance working with armies or CRPF. So what kind of food will go, what my product line has to. Like I have a product called which is only for working dogs. When I say working dogs, they can walk 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers in one go in difficult areas like Chhattisgarh or Jammu and Kashmir. So we want to know what all happening around the customer as well as the consumer to product my future. Like we have a product called dog sausages. When we launched it, the customer says, a lot of say that we also have not consumed sausages. Still is on a higher side of the society strata where sausages are consumed. How to feed it, we don't know. So there we say we'll not rush on it because we're dealing with a human and an animal and a life, and decision is going through a person actually. So basic challenges which I feel as a veterinarian also, when I say I have a subject matter understanding, I have practiced for pets, the emotional content is too high. The data is very much biased towards some side as a consumer, as a customer, but still finding data, companies are evolving, this category is booming at the moment right now. I think we are growing, the category itself is growing by 20% CAGR, and I can bet on the next 10 years will be in this category. Is nothing slowing down. And we expect, as per our understanding, we have a lot of investment happening in this category. PE firms are behind us to get investments and all. But another 10 years, this industry will be nothing less than $7 to $8 billion business in India itself. So we're looking very prospective for this. Thank you.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Sinha? Anybody? Yeah.
First of all, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Pretty interesting and a lot of interesting facts. My question to you is how do you maintain the customer life cycle, the pet parent life cycle, right? Yeah. So that you drive that repeat motion. What are some of the top 2 or 3 things that probably you do so that you engage the customer, you retain the customer, and right. You kind of grow with that customer? So
this industry still has a huge knowledge gap in terms of, even if today like a lot of people are still not a pet parent still, they think of having a pet today. So knowledge gap is very less. What kind of pet I should have, right? From if I'm living in an apartment or a villa or an independent house, what suits me? Because it's a 10 to 12 years life of commitment with the pet. So a lot of influencers marketing works a lot here. We work with very closely with veterinary doctors, breeders, to influence when a puppy is changing a hand or an NGO whose adoptions is happening. They can pass a lot of knowledge to these prospective pet parents. And we engage at different levels, not from the consumers or our channel partners, but also the government, colleges, institutions. We do a live vet session every Sunday on Instagram to talk about the problems. So when you're going for a pet parent, how you stay engaged, and the knowledge gap we reduce as much as possible. The lesser the knowledge gap, the category will go far. We say if the whole pet ecosystem has to grow. Like COVID, a very interesting fact happened. Huge adoptions happened. Everybody wanted a pet, and you must have seen your societies, the pet parents have gone up like anything. But now the offices are open. Where should I keep my dog when I'm traveling? Where should I keep my cat? So the ecosystem has to grow up so that I can be very hassle-free when I want to become a pet parent or a consumer of a pet category. So, yeah.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah. Almost covered what I wanted to ask. Just to add on to this, what are the additional efforts you're making to keep your customer informed, updated, or happy?
See, the biggest, as I said, pet food in India is expensive than our human food. So, and then the challenge customer face that I have seen my pet parents feeding home diet. That is our biggest competition right now. I said out of 100 pets, only 5 or 7 are eating packaged food. So one challenge they face that if I buy a package of food, the dog should eat. If it's not going to eat, who's going to eat? I'm going to lose my money. So that guarantee we make sure that if nothing happens, even a small kibble in the whole 3 kg or a 10 kg bag is left, you come back to us, reach out to our CRM, we'll make sure that your money is safe, first step. So that he be comfortable that, oh, my money is not going anywhere. Then we do that upgradation of knowledge, that how you move from a home food to a pet food or from other brand to this brand. That transition, we teach them, we follow with them. So that's why the acquisition cost is very high in this category right now, and the exit barriers are very low. People move out of the category very fast. My dog is 1 year old, all grown, adult. Why should I feed a packaged food which is expensive? So there we have to keep upgrading them. But tomorrow he can have a tumor problem if you don't give him right balance. His nutrition is different, human nutrition is different. So the dal you are eating cannot be a fit for him actually. So that's the knowledge again, and we have to make sure.
Thanks.
Hello, doctor. Good morning. I'm Namita from Thoughtworks. So this topic that you spoke about very close to my heart because I'm a huge animal lover. So thank you for speaking on this. So I wanted to, find out from you. CX is an evolving space, right? What is, futuristic value proposition today becomes commodity tomorrow because that's how the competitive landscape is growing.
Right.
So, and you brought up the perspective that dogs, pets, as a consumer, you need the customers to speak on their behalf. So I was curious to find out what approaches or techniques do you use to find out white spaces in this business because you need to expand your value proposition as well.
Right. As I said, we have to rely on the customer or the consumer to get the insight what is happening. I just give a reference what happens. I will not name the brand, but one of the most famous brand in the country, if you read the back of the label, it says chicken and chicken byproducts. One side I am saying I am a pet parent. Will I feed my kid a byproduct coming from a source of byproduct? The biggest challenge was in pet care, again the knowledge gap. People are not aware. They see what is the kind of protein is in the food, but what is the source of protein was not available. So we surveyed more than 300, 400 people. We did 15 to 17 FGDs. And we came to this conclusion that people know about the protein mentioned. Dogs, high protein diet is required. But what is the source of protein? Is it a feather? For like humans, we eat real chicken, right? I cannot eat hair. It's 100% protein. I can't digest it. So there's a factor called digestibility. How much protein will be coming to my body after I consume it. And on that basis, what you see, Drools, any communication going is says, or we have a lot of celeb endorsements happening from Hrithik Roshan to Kareena Kapoor. Everybody talks one thing, read the label of the pack. Get to know them. Until I know the gap. But again, the challenge I said, I have to talk to a lot of pet customers, pet parents as much as possible through all channels, be it from veterinarians, be it through NGOs. Like if you know about care, we do a lot of exercise with them. Sudha ma'am is there, and we do a lot of exercise. Why a person is adopting? Like there's an event happening like this, and then in the flow of the event, I adopt a pet. When I go home, I find, oh, I got a general indie dog. What will happen? My neighbors, what they will say. There we come and help them that what is required to have a pet. It doesn't differentiate you have a German Shepherd or an indie dog. They're as good as a pet if you're not going to breed them actually. So speaking to customer, and then we also working for the tech companies now in terms of generating data where when I go and talk to them, I can have a relevant set of points where I can mention that this is the collection of this survey or research which is going to help us and sell our products also eventually.
Thank you so much.
Doctor, quick, you talked about the pet food is more costlier than the human food, right? And India being a price-sensitive market, the knowledge gap, you can educate the parents, right? Hey, this is what the knowledge is, but still the pricing is very sensitive and very critical, plays very critical role. Is there any process or anything you guys are adopting to, bring down the cost so that it becomes a little bit more in the mass?
Yeah. So we do a couple of things in India. One is like, this is a certain multinational brands. So we are an Indian homegrown brand, 10 years old. And if you see the other brands are like 50 years, 40 years old, Nestle's, Mars are very old. When we started releasing our products, we were always trying to, our strategy, if you see, is very clear, Indian pricing strategy. Our premium products are not as premium as European brands. So one advantage that raw materials are cheaper in the country compared to what in Europe or the real source. And other aspect that when we started early, like Pedigree was selling at 100 rupees, we thought of coming at 80 rupees. So we were named as a cheap brand. Very difficult. Again, the brand has to relaunch, and we did. We priced at 100 rupees, then we came something which is cross-selling happening with the customers. Like sausage, I said. I started doing sampling of sausage. You buy 3 kg pack, 100 rupees, Pedigree 3 kg, Drools 3 kg, but I get 20 rupees sausage free with the product. So we did all those things so that value of the money has to be considered. Other aspect, in the pet care space, 50 to 55% of the spend of the consumer happens in the first year of the life of the pet, in the whole 10 years life. Once the dog becomes adult, the very less of attention goes also. You will find very surprising, even rabies, which is a very common, every year has to be applied. A lot of people don't apply. They say, bhul gaya sir, 3 saal se lagaya nahi. It's challenging. So we upgrade them. So first year was very critical to reach out to customers who is when coming to a channel partner to buy something or interact something. So there also we pitched in a lot of products like we are a food company, we launch a feeding bowl also. Just to get a marketing, so he stays in touch with me. I have his data coming in, I have his numbers coming in anyhow, I can speak to him and make sure that he stays with me for a longer span of time, not only 1 year. So that's what we worked on.
Thank you. I just have a quick one. Are you seeing your business growing more offline or is it more online?
Yeah. If I say currently the e-commerce space, they're largely marketplace are very, Amazon has been very focused on this category. Flipkart has just woken up now. Quick commerce is doing good, like Zepto, Blinkits are doing good. But if I say currently the whole category, 22% is the share coming from e-commerce space, which will go, I say two things in this category. One, the industry as a customer and consumer will move towards more of US and Europe. More humanization of pets will happen. I proudly say that we'll have Ola and Ubers of dogs also coming in the country, very sure. But the purchasing, the route to market will happen more China way, which is 45-50% online now. So that will happen. Penetration is growing up. If you go to Northeast, like we get huge now. My 45% business coming from online channel in Northeast. So penetration levels are getting up.